Hey, what is going on guys? RvzStealth here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some new strong and weak picks heading into patch 8.1. So this is going to be the patch that the new season does start on, so this video should give you some pretty good information on what you should be looking to expect when the new rank season does hit live. And then before we get into the video, I meant to do this in a video during December before Christmas, but I forgot. I want to do an RP giveaway, so all you have to do to enter is head down to the link below. All you got to do to be entered for the giveaway is be subscribed and also follow me on Twitter. I want to start using Twitter a little bit more because I feel like it's just a better way to communicate with you guys. If you want to ask me questions, the YouTube's comment section just really isn't the best way to ask questions. Twitter DMs is just a lot easier to use. If you've been wanting to ask me a question for a while now, then just use Twitter. And I'm also just going to try to be a lot more active on Twitter now and just try to tweet a lot more. So go follow me there, make sure you're subscribed, and you will be entered into the giveaway. So the first change we're going to take a look at here is a change to Brand, and he's getting a change to his passive to where the damage is getting increased from 2% of the max health up to 4%. Now what this means, basically, to just give you an example, in the early game, Brand's passive right now against a target that's got 700 max health, so if you're going up against like a tank support, like a Braum or something, he's going to have around like 700 or 800 max health. In this patch, your passive would deal 14 damage per ability use, and in the next patch it would deal around like 28 damage per ability use, so you're gaining around like a 42 damage increase if you end up getting your full combo off on a champion in the early game. So this is definitely a decent buff to Brand, and right now he's not in a very good spot. He's got around like a 46% win rate only in the support role, and I think that this buff should bring him up a little bit, but it's not really going to make him super OP or anything. It just should make him a little bit more balanced. So next up here are some changes to Graves, and Graves is getting a bunch of changes in this next patch. He's getting a change to his Q to where the cooldown is getting lowered only by 1 second at all ranks. The cost is also getting lowered a little bit. Once you've got it maxed out, it's going to cost 20 less mana, and his W is what's getting the most interesting change, I would say here. The slow is getting increased from 15% at rank 1 all the way up to 50%, and it's going to be 50% at all ranks now, but the slow duration here is getting lowered from 1.5 seconds to 0.5 seconds. So I think this will definitely help Graves in the early game. If you got red buff on him and you also just apply this 50% slow, then if you can just get up to your target, if you can apply the red buff, then you're going to have a very good chance at least burning the enemy's flash. I feel like his early game ganks will be definitely a little bit more effective now with this change, and it's probably going to make him a viable jungler for 8.1. So next up here are going to be some changes to Heimerdinger, and although these nerfs do seem pretty big to Heimer, you kind of got to break it down a little bit more and just take a look at it, because even though he's getting hit with a pretty big nerf to the damage on his beam with his ultimate, that's not the main damage source that you're really going to be getting during team fights. The beam is probably only going to come out like 1 or 2 times, 3 times probably max when you do place your ultimate down. The main damage from that ulted Q is going to be coming from the cannon, which is not getting nerfed. So although they're basically cutting the beam damage in half, you have to consider like you're not going to be using your ulted Q every single time. Sometimes you'll use your E and your W, and therefore this nerf won't really even come into effect in those situations. It's only when you are going to be using your ulted Q during a team fight, and I really don't think this is going to hurt Heimer because he's still going to have a great laning phase. The reason you pick Heimer is not really for mid to late game team fights. He's one of the best lane bully top laners, and that's kind of why you're picking him. You're picking him to have a great laning phase, to get ahead early, and if you do get ahead early, then this nerf really should not affect him at all. And then the final change to champions that we'll be taking a look at in this video is to Skarner. So Skarner's getting a change to his E, which is pretty significant. The bonus damage is getting increased from, at max rank, from 65 all the way up to 110. And the stun duration is also getting increased from 1 second all the way up to 1.5 seconds. So I think that in combination with this change here to Skarner's E, and also with the changes to like base damage during the preseason, and with Trinity Force now being stronger on Skarner, I feel like this could bring him back in this next patch. He's not in a terrible spot right now. He's a pretty average jungler. Like, he's not strong, he's not super weak, but he still does have a very low play rate. Nobody's playing Skarner right now, but I think that with this change here, it will definitely help him out a lot, and especially for the lower elos, I think that he will be a pretty strong pick for 8.1. Now, as for some rune changes heading into 8.1, there's some changes to the resolve tree. There's also some other changes to the inspiration tree, so we'll just break it down right here. So if you are taking the resolve tree with sorcery, domination, or precision as your secondary tree, then it is going to be getting changed. So you're no longer going to be getting 130 health. What you're going to be getting now is for every single tree, sorcery, domination, or precision, you'll be getting 65 health. And then depending on which tree you take, you're going to be getting a different amount of like attack damage or attack speed. I'll have all of the changes up on screen here so you can take a look. So what we can make out of these changes to the runes is that there are no changes here to resolve plus inspiration. So if you're taking resolve primary and then inspiration secondary, there's no changes at all. So this won't really affect support champions. I'm pretty sure most support tanks are taking resolve and inspiration in this current patch. I think this will affect any top lane pick though that currently is taking resolve plus sorcery or resolve plus the precision. I'm pretty sure Maokai is taking resolve sorcery right now. I'm pretty sure Ornn is taking resolve precision, and these changes will definitely affect these top lane tank picks. The reason to why I think this will affect the top lane tanks is because having an extra 65 health in the early game, in my opinion, is going to be a lot more beneficial than having like 6 extra attack damage or 10 extra ability power. Considering a lot of these tank top lane picks, they don't really have the best AP ratios on their abilities anyways, so having like 10 extra ability power on someone like Maokai is really not going to be more beneficial than having an extra 65 health. When you are trading in the early game, you're going to have to trade for a very long time to actually make that 10 ability power that you'll now be getting worth it, because having an extra 65 health when you're trading in the early game and just in general is going to be a lot better than having a little bit extra ability power. And then as well, this will affect champions more that do have some sort of like max health scaling in their kit. So support role, this will affect Braum a little bit more because his Q does scale off of his health. This will also affect Ornn in the top lane. This is going to be another nerf to Ornn because Ornn does have some max health scaling in his W, or he's got some sort of scaling with his health in his W. And I don't really think that having that little bit of ability power or a little bit of attack damage is really going to make up for the health that you are missing. Another decent change to the runes is going to be a change to the inspiration plus domination combination, and what you're going to be getting now is instead of 16 AD, you're going to be getting 13, and instead of 27 AP, you'll be getting 22. Now I'm pretty sure there's very few champions that actually run inspiration plus domination. The ones I can think of right now, Alawi in the top lane is someone that will run inspiration, domination. Echo mid is doing pretty good with Kleptomancy right now, and then he'll also run domination as his secondary. So this change, it is not really going to be that big of a deal. I think that this won't really affect those champions too much, but nevertheless, it is a tiny nerf to a few different champions. And there are a few other changes to runes coming to next patch, but I really don't think they're that significant, so I'm not going to talk about them in this video. If you do want to take a look at them for yourself, then I will leave a link down in the description to all of the changes. So that is going to be all for this video. There weren't too many changes in this patch, and I think that's definitely a good thing, because heading into the new season, heading into 8.1, if they were to release a pretty big patch and have the ranked reset on that patch, then I feel like if there were some champions that just ended up being a little bit too OP, people's ranks would definitely fluctuate, and there'd be some players who get to a rank which they don't really deserve because a certain champion is really strong, and then it just wouldn't really make for great matches during the start of this season. So I think it's definitely a good idea that they went light with this patch, and there shouldn't be too many things that are just super OP for 8.1. But with that being said, guys, if you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, you can enter the RP giveaway down in the description below if you would like to. But with that being said, guys, thanks for watching, have an awesome day, and I will see you in my next video.